lot of what I've done is because I don't have a big family. I didn't have my father around growing up. I had my mom and my sister, and so I was forced as a young kid to do things on my own. At 8 years old, I'm the one on the roof putting up the Christmas lights. I was the one that had to basically teach myself how to ride bikes. I was the one that had to find somebody else to take me to baseball practice. My mom worked so hard, she was working 2 or 3 jobs. And in the time when I grew up, there was a lot of other things going on in the world. And so it made it tough for her to work 2 or 3 jobs, raise 2 kids, and then have a son like myself who was active in sports and always wanted to ride a bike and was wanting to get hurt and do all those kind of things. And so I grew up very fast. And if it wasn't for my friends' fathers, and obviously I love my father and all that stuff till today, but if it wasn't for my friends' fathers taking me to baseball practice and picking me up for those games, I wouldn't have had those relationships and learning teamwork and all that kind of stuff. And so going from working in the restaurant industry and making money, and I would create these systems for these restaurants, and these companies would make tons of money, and I would be the one sit in the background, still kind of making that low salary, giving these people these systems, these things. And I promised myself, because of my grandfather and him owning a business for so long in San Diego, I always knew I was going to be an entrepreneur, and I went to school for entrepreneurship. I never knew what it was going to be. I always thought it was the restaurant industry, but dealing with people and their stomachs is not always the most fun thing to do. And so right when I started my real estate business, I had my first child, and my only child, Caden. For me, my number one, like I said earlier, is my number one thing is create memories. And for me, it's the most important. And I didn't know how I was gonna do it. And I kind of stumbled across real estate and flipping. And I had no clue what I was doing on my first flip. Everyone thought I was crazy for doing my first flip because it wasn't a traditional first flip. And I did it. And then obviously I met some great people who helped me along the way. And I knew if I worked hard and I brought people that knew what they were doing and surrounded myself with the right people, I knew that I would be able to create something for myself. Because like I said, I always knew I was gonna do something big. I had no clue the avenue. I just knew I needed and I was meant to do more. And so real estate was never on my radar, ever, until I started seeing stuff on television about people can go and buy houses and flip them and they're ugly and not making pretty kind of things. But for me, it was an amazing decision, amazing discovery. And then after doing a lot of deals, I was from 15 to 20 or so, 2016 to 2020, I think I was in 60-ish deals. And then that's when I stumbled across homeschool. And for me, I wish I would have found this type of program long prior. And I think I joined homeschool kind of in the beginning of homeschool. So I found him at the right time. However, I wish Tarek would have opened up a few years earlier, because then I could have found him then. But yeah, man, I've dedicated my business and my stuff to my son and the people I surround myself with. And it's important for me to take care of the people that help take care of me, because none of my success, none of these flips ever happened because of stuff I did. It was a group of people who put a little bit of information in, a little bit of time, a little bit of money, whatever it was. They're the reasons I was able to get to where I'm at today. And so I dedicate myself to making sure people have 40 hours a week. I'm dedicated to make sure that realtors have listings. I make sure realtors have offers to submit. And I work hard every day, every night, in my office, in the field, in my truck, on the phone, and I do it for the memories, because we get one life to live. And for me, it's important to wake up every day to put yourself in a position to succeed, to be happy, to have abundance, and prosperity. So I work hard at it, and I do it for the Disneyland trips and all the good stuff with my son. But yeah, so my real estate journey has been interesting. It's apparently been emotional, so we'll leave it at that. And yeah, it's been incredible.